shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked. And look, guys, you just seen the little teaser right there. A lot of big wrestling going on this weekend, but I want to talk about this first before we get into Quake at the Lake. You just seen the teaser, All Pro Wrestling, West Memphis, Arkansas, this Saturday night. The Smitty. And for those of you who don't know, no pity Smitty, man. Huge part of the wrestling scene around our local area. Huge part of All Pro Wrestling, APW, out of Marianna, Arkansas. One vision, one dream, and one man, and that man is Smitty. And this Saturday night, they're going to put on a huge stacked card in West Memphis, Arkansas. It's the very first annual Smitty. So you don't want to miss it. It's an important show. It means a lot to all these wrestlers. There's going to be a lot of people there. You're going to see all the APW stars. Downtown Bruno's going to be there. I'm going to be there doing some podcast, live stuff, and calling the action. Titanic's going to be there filming. Like I said, it's a stacked card, one of the best cards I've seen in a long time. And it's for a great, great man. It's just as simple as that. Smitty, for those of you who don't know, I want to say he passed away right at a year ago. We're right. I'm thinking he passed away right at the end of October, and I could be wrong about that. Just out of nowhere to us. Maybe he knew something. Maybe his family did. I don't know. But it was a rough blow to everybody involved on the wrestling scene around the Mid-South area, especially the people at APW. So look, guys, but we're here to talk about Quake at the Lake #2 right here tonight. And this is the second time that Quake at the Lake's been done. It's an outdoor show. It's an awesome event. I want to say it starts at around 12 p.m., but I tell you what, I'm going to get the man Blaze Ray out here with me right now to fill us in on all those details. Blaze.
What's up, Buster?
I don't know it, man. What's up with you, dude?
Same old, buddy.
Let me ask you something. Quake at the Lake, what's the bell time?
Bell time is set for 12 noon.
That's what I thought, man. So look, we got another guest on here too today. You and this guy are partners. Guy's he's the general manager of Pro Wrestling Mid-South Ripley. Mm-hmm. But before we get him on here, because I'm going to put you to work, I'm going to make you introduce him when the time comes. But before we get him on here, look, man, injury update. I feel like we're doing this about every 6 months. So injury update. How are you? How is your ankles? What's the deal, man? Are we going to see Blaze Ray back in the ring soon?
Just basically, trying to take it day by day like I've been doing, and some days are better than the others. I was hoping, the last time we talked, I was hoping to maybe be performing on this upcoming, Quake at the Lake or, a show within the year. But, I'm just holding it out, taking it day by day and see, what the future holds.
Right. No more injuries, though. I know the last couple of times we talked 2 times over about in 6 months intervals, you done had some other injuries. No more injuries, right?
I hope not.
Man, I'm ready to see Blaze Ray back in the ring, man. So look, Quake at the Lake 2. This is the second one. Last year it was a big event. It was successful. This year, talking about stacked card, I was talking about the APW having a stacked roster and a stacked card. Quake at the Lake is a stacked card this year. We got some graphics and stuff that we're going to look at and talk about like always. But before we do that, let's get your partner on here, man. It's your turn. You the introduction man today, man. Do him proud, dude.
All right. Well, the guy we got coming on here, my partner for the day. We've been buddies for a long time, and we Cody's one of them guys. He's been involved with the wrestling business in a while. He just hasn't had that opportunity to get his face out there, and tonight he's going to do that. So here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the Ripley branch manager of Pro Wrestling Mid-South, Mr. Cody Bowers.
Cody.
Buster, Blaze, how are y'all doing?
What's up, buddy?
Dude, it's a pleasure to have you here, man.
It's a
branch
pleasure for me
manager of Pro Wrestling Mid-South Ripley. Now, before we really get into Quake at the Lake, talk to me about that. Talk to me a little bit about, we know all about Blaze. We know all about Blaze. This is your time. Talk to us a little bit about Cody. Tell us kind of how you got in the business and how you ended up where you are right now, man.
It's just like everybody else's story. I was raised up by my grandparents. They adopted me whenever I was 3. My grandfather took my mother, uncles, nieces, all that kind of good stuff. He would take them to the Mid-South Coliseum, to the Pyramid in Memphis, watch old school wrestling. There wasn't a time that I don't remember maybe sitting on my floor in front of a TV screen watching WWE Raw or SmackDown or whatever wrestling event. Well, about mid-2000s, because I was born and raised in Ripley, Tennessee, maybe the mid-2000s, got word that there was a live professional wrestling coming to Ripley, Tennessee, TLCW. So grandfather started taking me to live shows every Saturday night, TLCW, EWE, and it just kind of my interest peaked from there. May 6th of 2014, my actual 16th birthday, I went to RCW Pro Wrestling live at the Power Pro Arena in Ripley, Tennessee. Met Richard Devon, talked to him after the show, kind of got into it a little bit. At the age of 14, I had a back injury that I knew that I wasn't going to be able to wrestle, even though that was a childhood dream of mine. But there's not a lot of jobs for guys my size in the business. I can't ref because I'm 6'3",
Right.
I'm 300 pounds, 350 pounds. There's not a lot of jobs.
Right, we can't have the referee tower over all the wrestlers, man.
Exactly. So he was like, "Hey, can you hold a video camera?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can hold a video camera." So I recorded the matches, and after probably about a month or 2, he was like, "Hey, I'm having to run the show, run the locker room, do audio, announce." And he's like, "Hey, can you sit in the back and do audio for me?" I was like, "Yeah." I've always been an electronic whiz. I've always loved computers, stuff like that. So I started doing that. Well, it wasn't even a couple weeks later. He's like, "Hey, can you announce from backstage while doing audio?" So it was like a 2-for-1 gig.
Right.
I was like, "Sure, I can do that anytime." Fast forward 10, 11, well, actually, sorry, 2.5 years later, RCW Pro Wrestling went out of business. Sadly, Richard Devon lost not only his mother, but his sister in the same week.
Damn.
His mindset just was no longer for the wrestling business anymore. Well, I got word that at the time, NWA Mid-South was taking over the Power Pro Arena. Well, of course, I went the first month that they had a show, went in, paid for the ticket. And the first night, it was kind of weird to me walking into the arena and not having to set up my stuff. Got to talking to Miss Gina, Greg's wife. She runs concession stand. And probably within a month, I got a hold of Greg on Facebook, said, hey, if you need any help, audio, announcing anything, just let me know. And he offered me a job. And here I am 8 years later. September 23rd marked 8 years I've been with NWA Mid-South.
That's a good run, man. That's a hell of a run. So look, talk to me for a second about, like you said, you growed up watching wrestling on TV and going to the Coliseum. Talk to me about the first time you ever stepped foot in a local indie pro wrestling event, man. How was it a shock to you? Was it a culture shock to you? How was it for you?
Well, I've never actually, sadly, I'm only 26. I know I look older, but I've never actually was able to go to the Mid-South Coliseum.
Okay.
I wish I would have. I seriously do. It looked like a great time. And the first time I ever went to a professional wrestling live show, it was amazing. It was a small building. Ripley,
Right.
Tennessee is a small building, but it could have been equal to the Mid-South Coliseum to me as a kid.
Right.
Seeing all those guys.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. There's a lot of people, a lot of times it's a culture shock for people. Here's the thing. If you growed up and you've only watched big time wrestling, WWF, WCW, whatever, and then you go to your first local live event, for a lot of people, culture shock because it's not quite what they are used to or what they may expect. Some people, like you, blowed them away. They actually love that live atmosphere better than the big shows on TV. So that's really cool, man. Blaze,
well,
go ahead, Cody.
Sorry, but
No, you're good.
around the time TLC EW started was just right around the time that Corey Macklin's Memphis Wrestling, home of Rhythm and Bruce,
Right.
the TV show was coming on. So it was so awesome being able to, because a lot of the guys from Ripley was on Corey Macklin's Memphis Wrestling. John Michael, Chris O'Neill, Christian Jacobs, Derek King, Stan Lee, all these guys that I get to see live and in living color on Saturday night is on Sunday Memphis Wrestling TV. And it was just kind of cool to me that I was able to meet those guys. And eventually, like I said, we work with John Michael very closely. And I've got to meet CJ, Derek King. Haven't got to meet Stan Lee. That's one guy I want to meet, but I think he hasn't been anywhere near the wrestling business in years. But there's a lot of guys that I still kind of want to meet as time rolls on.
So look, talk to me about you're working for Rashad, these other people, then going to work for Greg, because the one thing I know about Greg, he likes to be organized. He runs a professional show, family-friendly environment. So talk to me a little bit about, was there any transitional issues, or did you just kind of fit right in, man?
Like I said, I worked for Rashad for 2.5 years. I still, to this day, will say Rashad Devon was the one who brought me into the business. I still love him to death. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, but I mean that's he's out doing his own thing. He's no longer in the wrestling business. But the transition, it was easy. I messaged Greg. I said, hey, I know you're kind of new, because he ran a show prior. He had started about a year and a half before in Dyersburg.
Right.
And so I was like, hey, I know you're new to Ripley. I'm a Ripley native. I worked for Rashad at the Powerful Arena for 2.5 years. If you need any help getting it off the ground, or maybe, any information about Ripley, I'm always available. I'd love to come in and work for you. And he gave me the audio position, and off we went.
There you go. So look, Blaze, I can see you over there chomping at the bit, dude. I can see you over there gritting your teeth. So, hey, Quake at the Lake, and here's the thing now. Quake at the Lake is your show, but it's run under the Pro Wrestling Mid-South banner, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk Quake at the Lake. First of all, it's the second one. like I said, last year's was successful. Successful event. It's an outdoor event. Really cool setup. I love outdoor events, and I love the way this looked when I seen the footage. Talk to us about this year. Are we set up in the same place and everything, or what?
Yes, sir. We are same place. The Arts and Crafts Festival. Right there where the American Legion is, will be, of course, outside right there by the American Legion. Same bell time. Admission is still free. All that good stuff.
Yeah, free admission. That's the best, ain't it? That's the best, man. So look, talk to us about this card. Look, matter of fact, I'm gonna start pulling up a few graphics. First one I'm gonna pull up is downtown Bruno. Bruno, big advocate, big part of pro wrestling Mid South, and obviously going to be a big part of Quake at the Lake, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me get this up here, and I'm a little rusty, guys. There we go. Talk to me about bringing Bruno on for Quake at the Lake, man. Either one of you guys, or both of you.
Go ahead, Cody.
Well, I met Bruno quite a few years back working for Greg. He was like, I watched yours and Bruno's interview, and it's kind of like you had mentioned. Bruno wasn't doing as much as he is these days back then. But I got to meet him quite a few years ago. Got to get to know him, and I just knew because the way to give you kind of a breakdown of how Quake at the Lake come about, it took me, I made phone call after phone call for 3 years straight, literally trying to get the Arts and Crafts Festival. Got a hold of a guy that I actually used to work with, and he's like, yeah, my dad, he runs the American Legion building, and got a hold of his dad, but then his dad was kind of transitioning out of it and turning it back over to his son. So I got a hold of his son, and his son was like, yeah, he's like, we'd love to have you guys. Like, the Arts and Crafts Festival, the only entertainment they have, my understanding, and Blaze can counteract me on this, I think the only source of entertainment they've ever had was like a bluegrass band that plays like once out of the 3 days. And so I was like, I want to provide more entertainment for the great people of Lake County and surrounding and everybody that comes in. I want to provide it to them for free. Now we had last year for the main event, we had the Banks of Real Foot Lake Street Fight. Now this year we don't have any sort of kind of gimmick matches, but I knew this year we just had to do something bigger.
Right.
I just felt like something bigger. So Bruno come in to one of our Friday night shows. I pulled him to the side. Actually, this was like, I kind of asked him last year, but I kind of asked him a little too late. He already had a big Comic-Con coming up, and he couldn't do it. But I kept on him about it afterwards. I was like, hey, Bruno, you want to do it next year? And he goes, oh, yeah, brother, anything. Of course, he always gives the thing. He's like, the only thing the only way he wouldn't be able to do it is if he got a call from the WWE, of course.
Right.
I completely understand that, but thankfully they haven't called him yet. So we still got him.
Yeah, Bruno's a busy dude, man. Like he said on the podcast, the Young Rock show kind of restarted his career around here because, like I told him, he had kind of been out of the limelight for a pretty good while, and now all of a sudden Bruno's in huge demand. So talk to me about what Bruno's role may be at Quake at the Lake this Saturday. Is he going to referee? I also know me and him do some commentary together at a couple of places. Is he going to be doing commentary? Is he going to be the commissioner? What's going on with Bruno? Can y'all give us a little snidbit?
Well, you mentioned the Smitty show at the beginning of the show. He's actually going to be there that night because it's October 5th. It's
right.
I can't remember what time it starts, but so as of right now, he's gonna be our ref. doing what downtown Bruno does best, trying to keep everything down the middle.
Put them zebra stripes back on him.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, as long as I've known Bruno since started refereeing, I don't really think I've ever seen him wear an actual ref shirt. It's
And
always
it's been a
polos.
while.
Yeah, it's always polos, or that one with the pocket in it, or a T-shirt or something like that. And I just absolutely love Bruno.
Yeah, it's been a while, I think, since I know he's done some guest referee things over the past few years, but it's been a long time since Bruno actually put the zebra stripes on, and that's what he was doing, was reffing, man. Look, here's the thing about Bruno. He's a master he's kind of a master at all the trades in wrestling, man. I don't think there's nothing in pro wrestling Bruno can't do.
Yeah,
so it's
he can do it.
It's a big deal to have Bruno there. And look, guys, I'm going to pull Bruno down. I don't know what order these matches are in, so we'll just take them as I pull them up, and we can talk about them and talk about these matchups. Because like I said, y'all got a stacked card here. What is it, 5 matches? Is that going to be the card?
Yes, sir.
Let's just start right here and pull this one up. And y'all can talk to me about this matchup here and how it came about and why it came about.
You want me to go,
Big Cody.
Well, I'll say something and then I'll let Blaze kind of say something. Well, so this match right here, it's Big Cody Sawyer, big tough corn-fed guy. As you can see, lumberjack, stuff like that. Versus Cameron Cohog. Cameron Cohog is kind of new to the business. I don't think he's even hit a year yet in the business. But this past Saturday night in Dyersburg at Pro Wrestling Mid-South, we kind of saw a change in Big Cody Sawyer a little bit. So it's now going to be a fan favorites match where they're both, going to be good old boys. So we're going to see how that works out.
We're going to see a lot of handshaking and arm drags, right?
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully this is Big Cody Sawyer's first match, not as as a bad guy, and so hopefully his vision still isn't blurred a little bit.
There you go, Blaze. Give us your input on this matchup, man.
This is one that I'm kind of iffy on. I've been there. I've done what both of these guys are trying to do. Especially Big Cody Sawyer. At one point, I was the guy in his shoes. Trying to be the big bad tough guy. And then have a change of heart. And now my question is, can Cody Sawyer be trusted, or will the frustration set in and him revert back to his old ways?
Or is he just setting Cameron Cohog up?
That's what is he trying to lure me? And yep.
Here's the thing I see, man. I see we need to get Cameron Cohog a tan because he's whiter than me. He's almost transparent, man, and I'm white, so he's whiter than me. Or we need to turn him heel and put a bunch of bright fluorescent shirts on him. Being that white, he'd get good heat, man. He'd get a shitload of heat like that. And you said this is his actual first match?
Cameron's? No, Cameron's been working now probably a little less than a year. Wouldn't you say, Cody?
Okay. Less than a year. Yeah, less than a year.
Okay, so he's got some.
He was one of those kids that come right out of the Pro Wrestling Mid-South Academy, actually.
So he's got some experience, man.
Oh yeah, he's got Greg's thumbs up of approval.
So do y'all have any idea what match this is going to be on the card?
Opener.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
We got to start off strong. We wanted a strong, tough match, and I think this is going to be it.
Well, that's the thing. People don't realize it, man. I see a lot of people throw like two green guys out in the opening match, man. And man, sometimes it works out. More times than not, they kind of shit the bed.
Yeah.
And man, your to me, your opening match is sometimes more important than your actual main event because it sets the tone for every match that follows. It gets the fans where you want them for the next match, so the next guys don't have to work as hard. The first match is the primer, man, so you always need to have a good first match to go out there, a first match that can get the crowd going.
And also,
right, yes, sir.
Also, the first two matches is actually going to be reffed by our special guest, Downtown Bruno.
Downtown Bruno, and we know he'll call it.
He'll call it right down that middle. That's what I said last Friday night.
I don't know now. Somebody lines his pockets pretty heavy, man. You know Bruno. He has been known to do some devious stuff at times. We just won't know, man. You don't know.
Yeah. It was a few years ago, but I do audio for Poker Face at Millington Mayhem. Have for the past 6 or 7 years. And it was a few years ago that the last time Bruno was there, he somebody lined his pockets and he turned on Poker Face. So, I don't know.
All right, so guys, we got this matchup here. It's Chase Andrews versus Brandon Cruz. And look, guys, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm a little behind on my wrestling, so you're going to have to fill me in on these guys and tell me a little bit about them. It's been about a month since I really watched any wrestling. So talk to me about this matchup here, guys.
Chase Andrews, another Pro Wrestling Mid-South Academy kid. He got out of it for a little bit, come back with his whole, hate the world attitude, I guess you can call it. He won the Southern Junior Heavyweight Championship, then lost it to, I believe, Yellow Jacket here recently. And
I didn't know Kevin Lawler was still wrestling.
I know, right? But that's a secret and a half right there, ain't it? But
was he the Yellow Jacket or the Bumblebee?
Yeah. I mean, on Friday nights, or as of right now, he's being managed by none other than James Ross. I mean, at first he didn't like it, but I think James Ross kind of got him talked into it, maybe got him thinking about it. Brandon Cruz, he's new on the scene, but not so new. Let's just say that. I'm not gonna go into detail on why I had to say that, but he's worked for Pro Wrestling Mid-South before, but just in a different gimmick, I can say. But
I think we all know what that means.
Yeah. But it's been a few years. It's been a few years since we've seen him in the other gimmick. But I think this is going to be a good junior heavyweight match. And like I said, this is actually the second. You got the order so far good. This is the second match on the card. So maybe Downtown Bruno can make sure that this match stays, right down that middle.
Yeah, you probably just jinxed me. For sure, I'll screw the next one up. There's no doubt about that. So Blaze, talk to us about this matchup here, man, and these two guys, man. Give us your perspective.
Basically, what this match is going to boil down to, in my opinion, is you got two young, hungry up-and-comers. The question is, who wants it more? Is it Chase Andrews or is it Brandon Cruz? Chase being a former Southern Junior Heavyweight champion. He, like Cody said, he's a Pro Wrestling Mid-South Academy kid. He come back with a whole new attitude, and he's just down and dirty when it comes to it, and sometimes he can throw a little temper tantrum here and there, but I don't see him pulling anything past Downtown Bruno.
Right.
And Brandon Cruz, like Cody said, he's been in before, but like you said, it was under, it was something totally different than what we're seeing now in Brandon Cruz. but he's young and he looks hungry, and we'll just have to see if he can overcome Chase Andrews.
So we're back to standard good guy versus bad guy in this one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There you go. That's that right there. That's the formula of pro wrestling. That's what makes it go right there. Good guy versus bad guy. So I'm gonna pull these down and I'm gonna roll the dice, Cody, since you jinxed me.
Well,
and see if I get this one right, man. I know damn well I'm gonna get it wrong now. Let's see. Let me look and see what I got here. All right, here it goes. Here's my roll of the dice, guys. Y'all tell me if I'm right or wrong on the number of the matchups.
You're right.
you're right on this one.
Damn, I need to go to the casino tonight then.
I hear you.
Third contest of the evening is Tyler B. Jordan versus Logan Blake. Been
Now,
a
both
minute.
of these guys, I know a little bit about both of these guys. Both of them's been around a little while. Logan Blake's all over the place. Tyler B. Jordan, he's a mainstay at Pro Wrestling Mid-South, right?
Yep.
So talk to me about this matchup, guys. This right here, it looks like a really good matchup to me.
Oh yeah. Again, Tyler B. Jordan is another one of those Pro Wrestling Mid-South Academy guys. Comes right out of the academy. Athletic as heck, especially for his size. He's athletic as heck and just, strong, very strong. I mean, whenever you see him pick I've seen him pick Brandon Ray up off the floor.
That's a heavy load right there.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
standing next to Brandon Ray, and the dude is huge, man.
Oh yeah. So yeah, and we just recently had Logan Blake on a Saturday show. He's doing. He was another Pro Wrestling Mid-South Academy guy. Come right out of the academy, and then he went off to do bigger and better things. I've always said, I'm proud of what he's become. I think he's currently Southern Heavyweight Champion for TCW right now. Don't quote me on that though, because I really don't keep up with a lot of things right now, with my focus being on this show. But we're kind of looking around, trying to find an opponent for Tyler B. Jordan, and just out of the blue in my mind, I was like, well, why don't we see Logan Blake? He hadn't been seen in Pro Wrestling Mid-South in a while, and so I think this is definitely going to be a good hard hitting match. Also,
Right. Blaze, the floor is yours, man.
Well, like you said, Tyler's athletic as can be. He's one of them ones when you say an athletic specimen, that's what you have when you look at Tyler B. Jordan. He's fast, he's strong, and when he gets in there and goes, it's no stopping him. But then you have Logan Blake too, and like we said, Logan was a Pro Wrestling Mid-South guy. Then he branched out to do bigger and better things. He became TCW Southern Heavyweight Champion and all that. So he's out making a name for himself. So again, this match right here, I think, is going to come down to, again, who wants it more? Who's hungry? Is it Logan Blake or is it Tyler B. Jordan?
Right. Both these guys, I feel like both these guys have something to prove still, and when you got two guys in there that both want it and both have something to prove, not only to each other and the fans, but themselves, man, that's when you get some of the very best matchups in the pro wrestling business. I think this right here could very well be the show stealer, maybe.
could very well be.
All right, guys, we're going to move on, see if I can keep this streak rolling. I don't think we got but two more matchups, so or three more. I got a 50. No, hold on, guys. Let me find where the hell I am. All right, we got two more, so I got a 50 chance of getting this right. So here we go. Here's my roll of the dice. Talk to me. Is this the next one in line, or is this the main event?
Yep. Yeah, like you said, you gotta go to the casino on this one, Buster.
So look, Morgan Williams been around a long time.
Oh yeah.
Hell of a lot of experience. Peyton Pee Wee Pitts, he got a lot of experience too. He ain't been around like Morgan Williams has, but I mean, I had Pee Wee on the podcast. I really enjoyed talking with Pee Wee. He's a, I mean, Pee Wee can be arrogant and he can be cocky, but Morgan can be the same way. And then you got the LA Hustlers now. I mean, the fact of the matter is, can't nobody deny or question the LA Hustlers in the wrestling business around the Mid-South area. This right here really is one hell of a matchup.
So, sadly, this is the one that I said we had a cancellation on.
Damn.
I know.
Let me guess.
I know.
The Hustlers.
Sadly, Morgan Williams is going to be able to not be able to attend. He reached out to Blaze and personal reasons that we are definitely not going to get into, but you know, he's not going to be able to attend. But we are proud to announce his replacement in this tag match, and that's going to be in the form of the current one half of the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Mr. Logan Hendricks.
And there you go. One falls out, another one falls in, maybe even a better matchup. Who knows?
Never know.
Blaze or Cody, you finish your thoughts, dude.
Yeah. Peyton, Logan Hendricks, 2 Southern Junior heavyweights. Peyton being another Pro Wrestling Mid-South Academy kid. Actually, he was one of the first Pro Wrestling Mid-South Academy kids. Logan Hendricks, whenever he stepped foot into Pro Wrestling Mid-South, he's always, it seems like he's always had his eye on the gold, and he's been Southern Junior Heavyweight Champion. Now he's one half of the Mid-South Tag Team Champions in Ripley with J.R. Stone. They're known as the Desirables. And yeah, so yeah, we whenever this match come about, we were looking for we knew we wanted a tag team,
right?
a good tag team that's been around for a while. Some of the, you know, maybe a tag team that maybe can teach Peyton a little bit something. Maybe not. I don't know. He thinks he knows everything already, but he got that attitude. But
right.
And me and Blaze was, you know, sitting down, talking, throwing tag teams at each other, and Blaze just so happened to say, "Hey, what about the LA Hustlers?" I go, "I'm cool with it," and reached out to him, and there we are. Match is set up.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the Hustlers, man. The crowd, look, whether they're bad guys or good guys, the crowd has a blast with the LA Hustlers, man. Whether they're throwing shit at them and cussing them, or whether they're clapping for them and cheering.
We've crossed paths before, like in the locker room here and there and stuff like that. But I've never, you know, I've seen quite a few. Well, actually, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen quite a few of their matches, and yeah, like you said, they're a phenomenal tag team that's been around for quite a bit.
Right. So look, Blaze, before we even get your opinion, have you and Brandon ever faced the Hustlers in a tag team match?
We honestly have not. That is something that we were trying to get set up there for the longest, and it just, like, schedules wouldn't match up, or, you know, they'd be doing one thing, we'd be somewhere else, you know. But that was definitely a bucket list tag team for me to work with. You know, I wanted to do. You know, I want to do the LA Hustlers because, like Cody said and you said, you know, and everybody knows the Hustlers, you know, are pretty much the standard for tag team wrestling in this area.
Yeah, man. You know, it depends on which Hustlers you get. If you get the good, humble Hustlers, man, everything's cool. If you get the bad guy Hustlers, they want their own dressing rooms. Y'all are outside. Y'all will probably have to set them up their own dressing tent. Get them get them whatever drinks they want, man. I've heard the hustlers can be a little demanding when they're bad guys, man. But I mean, when you've been the top tag team around the area for probably going on a decade,
It's been a while. Yep.
I mean, I guess you earned that right, man. I guess that's what that TV time does for you. So
Oh,
yeah,
look, go ahead, Blaze.
yeah, it's been a while. Like we said, the hustlers have been on top. And that's something I've always prided myself on. I love all type of wrestling. I love singles matches. Whatever you could think. But there's nothing more. There's nothing more that I like than a good old fashioned tag team match.
Right.
To see how two guys click together and how they're going to work together and how this one reacts to this one, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on in a tag team match. And here's the thing, man. If you got a partner you click with, and then you find some opponents that you have chemistry with and click with, man, tag team matches can be some of the most fun matches that you'll ever have. I'm mainly a singles guy, but once I kind of delved over into tag team wrestling and I found the right partner, man, I love tag team wrestling. When I broke into business, it was all about singles for me. But once I found the right partner, man, I love tag team wrestling, man. It can be so much fun. All right, guys, I don't think I can get this one wrong unless I pull up one we've already seen. So I guess I'm going across the board here tonight, and we've mentioned this guy a couple of times already, Big Brandon Ray. So let's talk about this one, man. We got Big Billy Madden versus Brandon Ray. Hey, these are two bulls meeting in the middle of the ring.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You talk about hard hitting, skin smacking. I think that's what you're gonna get here, man.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, I may be wrong, but I want to say I'm right. This is the first actual meeting between Billy Madden and Brandon Ray. So this is the first time these two boys are going to square off.
Wow, man, that's a big deal. I would have never thought that. I'd have figured these two guys had probably squared off several times through the years, but that makes it even more of a marquee match right there, man. First time ever.
Right, and I've known Billy for a long time, and he was like me for a long time, and like my brother, he was a tag team specialist, running with JP Fantastic, back in the day as the Sons of the South, in the Dog Pound and all that stuff. And he's branched out and doing his own thing as a singles competitor. He's held championships at TIWF and pretty much everywhere he's been.
Right. Yeah, he's like you said, he's super accomplished as a tag team competitor, and really what he really just really branched out what year and a half or 2 years ago maybe, and broke off into strictly doing mainly singles matches.
I want to say so. I may be wrong, but it may be around that, maybe just a little bit longer, but I think probably around that time or so.
Right. The last team I know of him being in was him and David Dane, obviously.
Yep.
And then when they kind of split, both of them kind of, I guess it was like they decided, well, we're bored with tag teams right now, because both of them split off, and now both of them do singles, are singles wrestlers. So it's a hell of a matchup right here, man.
Go ahead, Cody.
Give us your opinion of this matchup. This is the main event of the show.
Oh, yeah. So for Quake at the Lake 2, the premise of it is Pro Wrestling Mid-South's past, present, and future. Past, Billy Madden has been, he's crossed paths through Pro Wrestling Mid-South before. He's tagged with Cordell Roberts. They were the Haymakers for a little bit. We sadly, just to be honest with you, we were going to try and kind of continue from last year's thing with Brandon Ray and David Jason Rose. But sadly, David Jason Rose was unable to make it to the event, so me and Blaze Ray had to get on it and get to brainstorming. Who can we find? And then got throwing people back and forth, and what happened? We spun the wheel, and lo and behold, we come across Billy Maddy, and me and Blaze was sitting there talking about it, and it was like, that's, can the people of Tiptonville handle it?
It's a hell of a matchup, man. I mean, truthfully, on paper, and look, now that I know, because I would have figured these two guys probably had wrestled a dozen times through the years minimum, but to never have touched in the ring like that, never one-on-one, I'm highly intrigued about this match and how it's going to play out. Blaze, I know damn well we ain't got to ask you who you're pulling for, man. So talk to me about brother, and man, I want to see Blaze Ray and Brandon Ray back together. The last time I seen you guys were together was actually it was the benefit show when the tornado hit. I can't even remember who ran the show.
Tiptonville.
Yes.
Tiptonville National Guard. Yes, sir.
That was the last time I seen you guys together.
Yeah, we actually worked Sarge and Tucker that night.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. It wasn't long after that you got injured, right?
It's about a year or so after. We broke off and done some single stuff, and then of course I had to try to show little brother, that I was a little bit better than he was, so I broke off from him, and we had a bitter feud there, not too long before I had my injury, my surgery, and now we're back on good terms, I guess you could say, and he's
so the truth is, so basically the truth is finally coming out. Brandon kicked that ass at home when wasn't nobody around, didn't he? Tore that ass up.
That's what it was. He waited to catch me while I was sleeping and stuff.
That's right. Broke right in the house, come right on in to attack your ass, man. So look, guys, talk to us about Quake at the Lake. Plug any sponsors you have. Plug start time. All this, man.
Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, Quake at the Lake 2. American Legion of Tiptonville. We're going to be right behind the building like we were last year. It's 2325 Tennessee 21, Tiptonville, Tennessee. Bell time is noon. It's absolutely free admission. As you saw on the last two cars that you show, our semi-main event is brought to you by the Tiptonville Dairy Queen. The main event of the evening is brought to you by the Tiptonville Family Pharmacy. We recently signed Sonic Drive-In of Tiptonville as well as a sponsor.
There you go.
We also we have A&J Comics and Collectibles in Union City, Tennessee, Tiny Bakers in Union City, Tennessee, and even of the upcoming November, I think it's November 9th, the Dyersburg Comic-Con at the Chamber of Commerce here in Dyersburg, Tennessee. We got them on as a sponsor. It's going to be a great event. Like I said, it took me 3 years to get Quake at the Lake, and whenever I finally got the confirmation that hey, we're able to do it, literally the first person I called that I wanted as my head booker was Blaze Ray.
There you go.
There's nobody else. There's nobody else on my mind. I have that much respect for him. I have had that much respect for his brother, and yeah, it's always been a respect thing between me and Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's the first guy I called. I said, "Hey, brother, I want to. We got Tiptonville. It's your hometown. But, let's do this thing." And I said, we did a pretty good thing last year. It was kind of surprising last year. I messaged to the American Legion guy before the event. I was like, thanking him for the opportunity.
Right.
And I was like, hey, maybe we can do this next year. And he goes, oh, maybe. And literally, it was after the show, he started to blowing my phone up. Like, we hadn't even left yet. He's like, well, I really appreciate you guys. I've had people coming up to me left and right saying how it was a hard hitting show, great matches left and right. And anytime you guys want to come back, you guys are welcome. I go, okay, cool. So we're going to do it again next year. And each year we're going to do it bigger and better. Maybe next year we will see the return of the Ray Boys. But who's to say?
I hope the hell we do, man. I hope we see that, man. I'm ready to see this damn dude back in the ring. Hell, man. But look,
I'm ready to be back in there.
That's the thing about pro wrestling, man. People who've never really encountered it live like that, and people who have events like that, until they have pro wrestling there, they do not realize the attraction pro wrestling can be to a festival or an event like that, man. Like you said, they might have had a bluegrass band, but I hate to say it, bluegrass ain't going to produce the same energy as a good pro wrestling show is going to bring.
Hey, we set up chairs around the ring, like we usually do. We set up the chairs last year and all that kind of stuff. And we kicked off. We started a little bit later because, like I said, we put over 12 p.m. bell time. But you still kind of with festivals and stuff like that. There's going to be people walking around still wanting to check out the festivities and stuff like that. So got to give them a little bit of time to make their way over there. Literally, probably by the second match, we literally had between probably about 50 people just standing around that's done stopped and started watching. And then by the time we got to our third or fourth match, that number pretty much almost doubled.
Right.
And so, hopefully this year, maybe we can double that. Maybe we'll have, pray. You always want a good crowd. You always want a big crowd, stuff like that. But I think we can get it done with this card this year.
Yeah, it's a great card, man. A stacked card. And like you said, last year went great. I don't see this going any different, other than, like you said, maybe we'll see more people there, and then we'll see a Quake at the Lake 3 next year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's obviously the goal, is to do this, to do it 100 times if they want you back, Oh,
yeah. This is, like I said, I worked for Poker Face doing the Millington Mayhem thing. He does his show once a year. And that's kind of where I got the idea to do an annual show. And plus, Blaze can kind of correct me on this as well. The Real Foot Arts and Crafts Festival, it's in a small town. We'll say that. It's in a small town.
Right.
But it attracts people from all over the country. And I think Blaze had told me at one point it attracts 30,000 people
yearly. Yeah, somewhere in there. Sometimes it may be more because you've got all these vendors coming in, and sometimes you may have people come from a different country over here for this. Big vendors and people trying to enjoy the festivities and stuff. So, that's all we can do is keep putting together the best product we can put together and hoping they invite us back each year. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with this. When Cody asked me, hey, would you be interested in being a part of this? Booking the talent, the matches and things like that, was to put together the best product I can put together and give the guys a different variety of crowd to work in front of, a different platform, if you will.
Right. I didn't realize it attracted that many people. Like Cody said, I mean, really, it's a small town.
Oh, yeah.
And if you got 25, 30,000 people converge on this little town, right, there's a lot going on there during that festival.
So last year, we forgot to tell our guys about the traffic issue. You see, whenever the events, the actual festival starts at 8 a.m. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday festival. We had a guy, one of our roster guys. He had just entered Tiptonville, Tennessee. He was in Tiptonville, just entered. and his GPS told him it was still going to take him what usually would take him about probably not even 5-10 minutes to get to the building.
Right.
His GPS told him it was going to take him about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to the building. That's how bad traffic is during his event. So that's why this year I went ahead and told all the guys, like, hey, you may want to add just, maybe an hour, at least.
Right.
Add an hour time onto your leave time because it gets pretty crazy.
And that's what you want, though, at the end of the day. Y'all want the biggest crowd that you can possibly get, the most eyes put on the wrestling. And like Blaze said, it's all about the product, man. Give these fans, give the community a pro wrestling product that is good, it's got energy, and they can be proud of. That goes a long way, man. That's the thing. It's like working at armories, renting armories out. You get a good rapport with one armory, that helps you get in other armories all across the country. So you get in good with the community. I mean, who knows? We're liable to see. I mean, who's to say? You say once a year, but you get in good with the community. Who's to say somewhere else 6 months down the line they don't want you to do an extra show a year in the town? It's
that's definitely something that we're always open to.
Right.
We're always looking for different towns. I mean, you had Greg Anthony on here not too long ago back. Putting over, getting to Dresden. We went to Dresden here recently.
Man,
Monumental.
huge crowd,
Huge.
man.
Oh,
I don't remember why I wasn't able. There was some reason I wasn't able to make that show. For some reason, I don't know if I had some family issues come up or something. I wanted to go to that show so bad, and then when I seen the some of the footage and pictures and stuff of it, man, awesome turnout for that show, man. I'm expecting y'all to come back, Pro Wrestling Mid-South to come back sometime.
After that show, I think it's a definite. There's been talks already of maybe making it a yearly thing, a yearly go around.
I think it'd be
that's
good.
Just foreseen into the future. But yeah, the premise of the Pro Wrestling Mid-South Quake at the Lake event was plain and simple. I wanted our guys to have different eyes on them.
Right.
Because you never know who shows up to, like I said, 25, 30, up to 50,000 people. You never know who's going to show up. Who's to say that there's not a WWE talent scout sitting in our audience and we don't know about?
Or just somebody who has that connection.
Exactly.
Somebody who's able to say, hey, man, I seen this dude and, in this little ass town in Tennessee, but man, you might want to give this guy a look. That's really all it takes is somebody with a connection sometimes.
So I don't want to say this, but so I reached out to Downtown Bruno so he could put over the event for us, shoot us a promo, all that kind of stuff. Well, I was sitting at our Friday night show, getting ready, getting that ready, all that kind of stuff, and he calls me. He goes, "Hey, brother, this was around the time that you just did the interview with him. He had sore throat, strep throat, stuff like that. He's like, hey, I sent you the promo. I texted you the promo. Hang up, watch it, and then call me back because I got something to tell you." Okay, stuff like that. And so I sit there, I watch it, and it was completely fine. It was great. Love Bruno's promos, everything about it. And I call him. I was like, "Yeah, brother, I really appreciate you. It's a great promo. I'll post it, tomorrow, whatever, and stuff like that." He said, "So here's what happened." So he's not tech savvy. Of course, he'll tell you in a heartbeat. He is not tech savvy at all. So he went to text me, and my name being Cody. He went to text the promo for Quake at the Lake 2 to me, and instead accidentally texted it to the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Oh no! Hey, that's fate, man. That's just one of them situations where don't look a gift horse in the mouth, man. Because talk about guys with connections. Bruno has all those connections, man.
Yeah. And I
Most
asked
definitely.
him, I did ask him this past weekend, whenever he come in, if he ever got a response from Cody Rhodes, and he has not yet responded to the promo for. Like I said, I was like, well, Cody Rhodes going to look at that and be like, I what Tiptonville, Tennessee, what, I don't even know what that is.
Hell, it ain't been what, 10 or 15 years or so. Dusty was in Dyersburg, wasn't he?
I believe Dusty Rhodes has been through Dyersburg a time or
Right.
two years ago.
In between WCW closing down and him going back to work for WWF or WWE, he was kind of out hitting a lot of places, man.
I don't think
Down
people
here
quite understand. See, I don't think people quite understand where Dyersburg area. It's not as big as Memphis is on wrestling, but Dyersburg, it has a significant history of wrestling in it.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, hell, let's take out Lawler and them from back in the day. Greg's been a part of Dyersburg for how long now? 10 or 12 years?
About 10 years. Yeah.
I mean, Dyersburg's always had a history of wrestling. It's like Kennett, Missouri. There's a big show coming up in Kennett, Missouri on October 12th, the American Hostile Championship Wrestling Show. Lawler's going to be back in Kennett. Ricky Morton, Downtown Bruno's going to be there. I want to say maybe Doug Gilbert, but there are certain towns around here. Memphis ain't just the Jonesboro. Jonesboro's got a rich history of pro wrestling in it. There's actually a lot of towns around our Mid-South area that are like that they're not Memphis, but man, they've had some classic matches and some classic matchups happen in these towns.
Like I was at the Jones, I actually took off a Saturday night and went to that Legends of Memphis wrestling show in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Great event, great everything. And speaking of John Michael, what's up, brother?
Johnny boy.
So let me. I'm glad I seen that and clicked over to it. Y'all just had Pro Wrestling Mid South just did a benefit show for John Michael, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yep.
How did that turn out?
Pretty well, actually. We raised almost $700 for John Michael. For anybody that doesn't know, John Michael's always, as far as I've ever seen him, he's always wore knee braces.
Right.
I think there's only been twice since the mid 2000s that I've seen him wrestle without knee braces. He's always had bad knees, all this kind of stuff, but it never stopped him. He dedicated his life to professional wrestling. Well, he was running around his house doing some housework. Just so happened to slip on some loose carpet, and boom, knee first onto the floor.
Man,
and that was years of wrestling, and that's what takes out his knee finally. Well, his surgery was only supposed to be about an hour. I've talked to him about it. It was only supposed to be about an hour. It was going to be a full ACL reconstructive knee surgery. Well, whenever they went in there, they found that his PCL and MCL was tore completely off the bone.
all right.
So what was an hour surgery turned into a 3-hour surgery. I stopped by his house probably last week sometime, started talking to him, check up on him, make sure everything's good with him. But it's gonna be a long road, but it's like I told him, God has put him on his path.
Right.
It's gonna be bumpy, but at the end of all this, I know for a fact that it's gonna be, all worth it in the end.
Man, I feel him, man, because I've had my knees hurt, both knees, several times, pretty bad, and never went and had anything done to them. And I cannot get on my knees without knee pads on. I cannot kneel down and put one of my kneecaps on the hard floor or concrete or even a ring. Without knee pads, when you get up, you go to spin up. And you spin up on your elbow and that one knee, man, I cannot do it without knee pads because, man, when my kneecap puts the weight on it on something solid like that, it hurts so bad. I mean, it's excruciating. I fully feel that, man. I didn't really know what his issue was,
Yeah.
but I mean, wrestling will do it to you, man. And back in the day, you didn't get. I mean, if you didn't have insurance, you didn't go get no medical attention, no surgery.
Right.
You just, dude, I hurt mine, hyperextended it so bad one time that for 6 months from my ass cheek to my ankle, it wasn't even blue. It was more like a black blue. And I had to work like that it took it probably 6 months for the color to come back and all the bruising to go away. But I will tell you this, it made me a smarter worker. Sometimes injuries teach you how to work more, because you got to learn how to work around those injuries, man. And you know, you got one of your legs completely out, and you got to be focused on not messing it up anymore in every match. I rode like 6 months with the back of my leg completely black from ass cheek to ankle, and so I feel him, man. I just can't bring myself now to go get no surgery done. They're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to just fall out and can't be able to walk before I'm gonna go get that surgery done. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, guys. Look, guys, I appreciate you guys so much for coming on, man. I hope y'all have all 25,000 people trying to surround.
That'd be nice. That would be
on
nice.
Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
I do, man. I really do. I hope this works out for y'all. I hope we're back next year doing Quake at the Lake 3. I'm here. Hit me up and we'll do it again, man. And Cody, pleasure to meet you, man. Hopefully somewhere down the line we'll meet in person, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely. Pleasure to meet you too, bud.
Cody, I'm gonna pull you down first, man. You have a great night, my friend. Thank you for coming on.
You too. Thank y'all.
All right, Blaze, let me get this situated back and get me and you back in full screen, and we'll end it off, man. Blaze, dude, you know how I feel about you, man. Anytime, anything, just hit me up. We'll promote it or whatever. Here's John Michaels back before we get off. He says, my ACL was torn off the bone since 2009. So over 10 years, I did all the things I did in the business working around it, and that's exactly what happened. I had no choice but to have the surgery. I feel you, dude, man. I can't even imagine. I've known since, hell, to be honest with you, probably since 1995 or 6. I've needed both of my knees worked on and just didn't have insurance at the time. And even if I had insurance, I was hard-headed and young, probably would have never got them worked on. So I feel you, man. I would dread for...
Go ahead, Buster.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I would dread for them to get into my knees.
Here's the thing about John Michael, too, that a lot of people don't understand. John's been around for a while. So, on top of the multiple injuries and stuff, like you said, he's one of them ones who, he had to adapt. He had to adapt to his working environment and work around that and work around the injuries and stuff. But what a lot of people don't realize too is that, John Michael doesn't get the credit he deserves, in my opinion.
Right.
John's in my opinion, is one of the best all around wrestlers, to ever lace a pair of boots in this area, and in terms of storytelling and psychology wise, man, there's really nobody that can outthink John, in my opinion, when it comes to storytelling and the psychology aspect of things. His mind, to me, John should be somewhere booking for the AEW or WWE or something. To me, that's how his mind is and how smart he is in this business.
Right. And, hey, that's the evolution, man. We all kind of evolve. You start out as a wrestler, you get to where you can't wrestle. If you want to stay in the business, you gotta pivot and figure out where your next what your next venture is in the wrestling business, man. Who knew I'd be doing this? I never thought I'd be doing this shit 25, 30 years ago. Never had no back then there wasn't even no such thing as a podcast anyway, but never had no desire to do this or anything. And fate kind of takes its turns for you, through life. So
right.
You never know. We liable to see John Michael somewhere in the back doing some booking.
That would be nice because I know that's something he's very passionate about. You know, I've seen him. You know, I've been over to his house. You know, to watch pay-per-views and stuff, and within a few seconds, snap a finger, he could see something and rewrite the whole script from top to bottom to where you're like, damn, that's pretty. You know, that's pretty. How'd you come up with that like that off the fly? You know, just that quick. You know,
right. Creativity, man. That's the thing. That's
Yes,
what
sir.
rules pro wrestling. Creativity. Blaze, my brother, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, I hope y'all have all 25,000 people surrounding the ring. And, dude, you have a great night, my friend.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, y'all. You seen it right there. Quake at the Lake 2 this Saturday, Tipton, Tennessee, 12 p.m. Do not miss it. It's going to be an awesome show. You'll see Downtown Bruno there. They got 5 great matchups. It's free. Hey, you can't beat free, guys. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate everybody who interacted with us. I was going to promote something, but hold on. Let me get my book out so I can see what I've actually got next. All right, guys. So next Tuesday night, it'll be a AHCW show. Mark Southern will be on here with me, West Coast Mike. We'll be promoting the October 12th Kennett show in Kennett, Missouri. Going to be a huge show. Jerry Lawler's going to be there. Downtown Bruno, Ricky Morton. I think Doug Gilbert. There's no telling who's going to be there. I think there's going to be a meet and greet before the show, before the matches. And that's on a Tuesday, 7 p.m. Wednesday night, hey, I got the King of Pow, Chris Lex. Memphis staple, been a staple in Memphis wrestling around Memphis, Tennessee for a long time. Hellaciously talented guy. Cannot wait to get Chris on here and pick his brain and talk to him, man. This is one I've been trying to get for probably a year now, and we finally got it locked in. Looking forward to that. And hey, then Friday night, October 11th, 7 p.m., I got the Merc, Chris Evans, man. Big in 901 wrestling, big and committed to wrestling. Looking forward to talking to this guy. He's hellaciously talented. Cannot wait, guys. Till next week, y'all take it easy.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love